morning, everyone, and welcome to week 2 and to your week 2 Monday morning breakfast bite. So here we are. You made it through week 1. You got done with the syllabus quiz. You got done with that writing assignment, and now we're moving on. And this week we're going to be talking about jurisdiction and intellectual property. Now, jurisdiction is a procedural matter. Intellectual property, we're looking at substantive rights. And jurisdiction is one of those procedural areas you need to have some familiarity with so that you can make better business decisions and understand the effect that some of these issues have on that business decision making process. Now, with that said, real quick, let's just take a look at your homework for this week. In the homework folder, you're going to find your week 2 discussion. Remember, that is due if you're in the online. If you're an online student, your initial posting is due by Thursday, and your response posting to another student is due by Sunday. It's a current event this week, and so you're going to be taking a look at the current event evaluation form. Now, do you have to follow this strictly, adhere to this? No, I don't want you to fill out the form and attach it. What I want you to do is follow this format and just take a look at it and understand what you're looking at from the aspect of creating your initial posting. Because I want you to, identify the issue in your current event. What is it? Talk about the relevant facts. Talk about, what the court had to decide, the conclusions, what was actually going on or is going on with that current event that you decided to pull. And that's, the current event needs to be something within the past 90 days, 60 to 90 days, if possible. And I would like it to be on a topic relevant to this week's material, intellectual property, if at all possible. So there's so many sources out there. There's the New York Times, we've got cyber journals, e-commerce journals, we've got small business journals. So there's all types of things out there. You've got the Wall Street Journal. So just take a look. The Tampa Bay Times will have things in there from an international perspective, even if nothing else. So that's what you're doing with regard to your discussion forum this week. Then you also have your team building exercise. I'm going to be assigning teams by tomorrow, Tuesday. And what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and each person is going to fill out that team building form at the top, the individual part, and then together as a team, you're going to decide who's going to be responsible for what activities moving forward, looking at all of the different deliverables. Somebody is going to be primarily in charge of doing the research and writing up a part of the issue evaluation form. You're all going to have to work together with regard to deliverable 1, which is creating your hypothetical scenario. So take a look at how the team project deliverables are broken down so you understand how to divvy up the responsibility. Also, when you're looking at that team building exercise, decide what strength you're going to move forward, because the whole purpose of this exercise is for us to identify our strengths and, well, those things that we're not so strong on. And I don't want to call them weaknesses, but they're challenges. They're things that maybe we don't do best. I mean, I'm not a finance person, so that's not my area of expertise. I can do research, I can write, I can do all of those things. I can analyze and pick apart a situation, put it back together, and articulate that. Obviously, because I'm an attorney. But those are my strengths. But if you want me to crunch numbers, not my area of expertise. So we want to think about that. If English is a second language for somebody, maybe writing or editing is not your area of expertise. And so, we want to consider that when you're divvying up the team project. And then you have quiz 1. So you don't have any formal writing assignments this week. So you just have the discussion form, and then you have the team building exercise and quiz 1. You can only take quiz 1 one time. It's not like the syllabus quiz, but it is open book and open note. Please do save your answers so you have them to study from for the midterm. And other than that, we're just going to talk really quickly about this week's material. This week we are talking, as I said, about jurisdiction, which is procedural, and then we have intellectual property. Now, let's talk really quick about the procedural aspects. Let me pull up our PowerPoint. Now, procedurally, what we talk about when we talk about jurisdiction is we are looking at what in fact needs to be done in a situation to ensure that if you're entering into contracts or you're selling your property in different parts of the country or the world, that the place where your brick and mortar or where your company is located is the place where you're going to exercise jurisdiction, both subject matter jurisdiction and personal jurisdiction. Jurisdiction is divided into different areas. There's personal jurisdiction and subject matter jurisdiction, and then we have in rem jurisdiction and quasi in rem. We're not going to concern ourselves so much about in rem jurisdiction, which is jurisdiction over property, such as real estate and things that are not movable or that are attachments to property. But personal jurisdiction deals with jurisdiction over the person, you and me. And a business is considered a person under the eyes of the law. So when we're exercising personal jurisdiction over that entity, we're looking at where that entity is located, or if we're dealing with e-commerce, we're looking at where that entity may be doing business. And if you're in e-commerce, we all know that means the world is your oyster, and so you could be doing business anywhere. So it gets a little tricky determining personal jurisdiction from an e-commerce standpoint. So when you're reading the PowerPoint this week, when you're reading the course materials, have that in your mind and realize that when we're dealing with e-commerce, there are different ways of determining when personal jurisdiction attaches. Now, subject matter jurisdiction concerns the subject matter of the lawsuit. Why is the plaintiff suing the defendant? What's going on in the case? So we have to determine whether the court has jurisdiction. We determine that by determining the amount of in controversy, which is how much we're suing for damages. We determine it by what the subject matter is, family law court case versus a civil case, criminal case versus a civil case, and things of that nature, whether it's federal court or whether it's state court. If we're dealing with federal court, then we're going to be saying, okay, well, is this a federal case or is this a state case? Because if it is a state case or it's an amount in controversy that you're trying to get the case into federal court, but there's not a federal statute or constitutional right at stake or something of that nature, then we have to look at amount in controversy. Well, if we're looking at amount in controversy, there are two things. What is the amount? Because it needs to be at least $75,000 or more for damages, and also the parties involved in the litigation have to be from different states. If they're from the same state, you're stuck in state court. So that's what we're looking at when we look at jurisdictional from that standpoint. If in fact it involves a constitutional right or a federal statute, then we can go ahead and we can access the federal court system for jurisdiction purposes. Now, obviously 45 slides is a lot of slides, but let's go ahead and let's move forward quickly just for some other key points I want you to think about. If you're in state court and you're suing somebody that is not a resident of the state of Florida, for example, we have tourists coming down all the time. They have automobile accidents and then they go home. So they ran a crosswalk and hit a Florida resident as the resident was crossing the street. Now they went home. Does the court, but the person that got hit, they broke their shoulder, they broke their arm, whatever it is, they were injured, and now they want to sue that tourist. So the question becomes, does the state court have jurisdiction over this person that isn't living in the state? Yes, under certain circumstances it will, but there's tests that we have to go through. First, we have to determine, is there a state long arm statute? Well, Florida does have a state long arm statute, and what it says is, if in fact you did something wrong in the state of Florida, basically, then we can pull you back into the state of Florida to answer for that wrong. But in doing so, we have this other analysis we have to go through, which is the due process clause. So, in determining the due process clause, we have to determine certain aspects under the international shoe case. One is we have to determine whether there are minimum contacts, and then if we do say there are minimum contacts, the person was here in the state, they hit a resident who was crossing the street at a crosswalk and they caused them injury. There's definitely minimum contacts because they were here in the state, right? Now we have to say, okay, but now will the exercise of personal jurisdiction offend traditional notions of fair play and substantial justice? Well, what we look at from that standpoint is, did you think that possibly if you did something wrong, transacting business here in the state, or visiting the state and then hitting one of our residents here as they were crossing the street, that you might have to answer for that wrong? So you look at it from the standpoint of the foreseeability that if you do something wrong in the state where you have actually harmed a resident, is it possible that you would know you'd have to answer in that state for that wrong? So we look at that, and there's a whole analysis that we go through with regard to that. But that's kind of the thing that we're looking at when we look at jurisdiction. Now, let's take a look and move on real quickly to intellectual property. So when we talk about intellectual property, we're talking about different categories. There's trademarks, service marks and trademarks really pretty much go hand in hand. So we're going to lump that into the category of trademarks. Then there's copyright, there's patents, and there's trade secrets. We're also lumping into the trademark area, trade dress. But what you're going to focus on primarily this week is copyright and patents. So when you look at that, we look at what is a patent, what is a copyright. A copyright pertains to literary works, musical works, dramatic works, pantomimes even, and something that a lot of people don't think about is software programs, architectural plans. All of those things are considered copyrightable material. In other words, you can file for copyright protection with the Copyright and Trademark Office, or with the Copyright Office, and you can get that protection for that copyrighted work, and it's not terribly expensive. But there's a process that you have to go through. And it's important to recognize that process and to understand the steps that you have to continually go through at later times, but you want to very much understand that it's important to protect that copyright, because by doing so early in the game, you ensure that you can get your attorney's fees paid if in fact you do have to sue someone for copyright infringement. So with all of that said, that's a synopsis of what we're looking at this week. I know I've gone over my 5-minute allotted time, but I hope that this has been informational for you. I hope it's got you started on the right path this week. I hope you all have an awesome week too. And of course, if you have any questions, as always, don't hesitate to email me or contact me.